Right, I don't know how well this is going to come out on camera, but to me, at this time of year, this palm is really shining out due to the back of the leaves are really sort of a silvery white. So this is going to be an update on the Parajubaea torallyi, which is going to be another hard to get hold of palm in the UK. I was quite lucky with this one. I got it on eBay a couple of years ago from a company which is based in Spain, so you wouldn't be able to get it now because obviously we've left the EU and whatnot, so you can't really import stuff like you used to. But yeah, they were advertising it on the eBay, and I think I paid £99 for it. I think that might have been about 15 quid to get it to the UK, but well worth it. Like I say, I haven't seen any offered for sale for years, and that's going to be a hard one to get hold of, I think, but never know, people might be growing them from seed somewhere and might turn up sooner or later. But yeah, I mean, going back to the silvery underside, we can see the top of the leaf. It's quite a dark olive green. I'd say it's a similar sort of green to the Phoenix canariensis. Very similar sort of dark green, but obviously a lot daintier looking, more tropical, and a lot finer petioles. But yeah, the back of the leaf, I mean, that's not so much on this older leaf. I'm guessing that's probably when they freshly come out like this one. You can really see how much silvery white is on there. And they do look quite nice. And this palm is gone one winter in the UK in the ground. And I say in the ground, it is in a raised planted area, so this is a 12-inch or 1 foot loggin raised up, and there is, I don't know if you'll see it, but I did, when I made this raised area, I did insulate it with an inch thick polystyrene so the cold and frost don't penetrate. Not that, I mean, this is I don't know, maybe 4 foot wide circular raised bed, so it's not as if the cold or frost is going to sort of penetrate to the roots anyway, but just to give it a little bit more insulation and just to really help the loggin stop rotting so quick when it's you know, stuff in between that and the soil. But yeah, back to the palm. So that's how I've planted it, raised up. So that's going to give me a better chance of obviously not getting the root rot. Being this is a mountain, well, it's quite often called the mountain coconut. They do actually produce small coconut-like fruits, which I believe you can eat. It's going to be a long time before we see that. It is a fairly slow one, but saying that, this year that has opened fully, this frond, which is looking quite big and long, this one's opened, and there is another one now pushing out to open. So like I say, it does stand out because when you come round to a certain side and you see that white, we come round here, that really does give you a different look to a lot of other palms. And I'm not saying this is going to be totally hardy, and most of the UK is probably a palm you're going to need to protect, and to be fair, I am going to probably protect this again this year. I did last year and I will this year, just to give it a fighting chance to really sort of acclimatise it properly over a few years, and each year we'll let it go a bit further into winter before we protect. But yeah, so this is the Parajubaea mountain coconut, commonly called the mountain coconut. I believe this well, power means alongside or equal to, and Jubaea is obviously Jubaea chilensis, so this supposed to look a bit like that, but it looks to me a lot nicer and more tropical, just due to the fact that, you know, daintier foliage and obviously that silver underside. So for me, this is a real nice, again, it's going to be hard to find, but a nice palm if you can get hold of one. I would definitely take that opportunity. Like I say, it's kicked out basically three decent leaves this year, and that has been a hot year. It has put on maybe a couple of inches of the trunk, so we can see down here, this is like the original trunk when I bought it, and then that's, yeah, 2 or 3 inches, probably 2 inches this year. So again, that's not going to be a fast growing palm, but again, that is going to be due to being sort of grown at elevation. It is fairly wind tolerant, and like I say, it will take the colder nights. And like I say, it sailed through last winter, no problem. I did have a shelter over this whole centre bed area, so it's literally just a framework with some like plastic sheeting on it. It wasn't sealed in by any means. There's plenty of airflow through it, so I mean that's going to be the key if you do want to protect a palm like this. Is you don't want, like you see some people in America and Canada, they box their palms in, which is fine for them, but for us, with a, you know, the damp winters we get, you're gonna have mold and all sorts of rot issues if you've done that here. So I do tend to use something clear, so you know it still gets sun and it still warms up a little bit during the day, but something where you're going to get a lot of you know, airflow, a bit of movement there. So I will apologise, I've got a load of wooden stakes here that might come into play when I build something around this. I'm still figuring out what I'm going to do with that. But like I say, this is as you walk up the garden, you tend to really stand out that silvery back to the foliage. Yes, I think that's about all I can tell you. I don't know however many other people are growing these. I haven't really seen anything on YouTube in the UK about them, but I certainly would be interested if anyone else is growing them or in a similar sort of growing zone. I say I'm 8B growing zone, so we don't really get cold winters, but we get a long winter, so that's the issue. But on a side note, we did have a big Parajubaea banana here, which is I managed to dig out because that was crashing into some of the fronds on this, and obviously you can see they're sort of bent over and damaged now. So I've managed to get that out now. That was in the ground down here. Got that out, so the main centre now is, you know, it's going to be next year. That by no means a large palm tree. It's probably, let's say, it is raised up a foot, so it's probably the tip of the fronds is only probably about 5 foot, so it's definitely not a huge palm tree by any means. But you know, over the next few years, hopefully it puts on a bit of trunk, and that's going to be the very centre of the garden, so that might catch your eye first as you walk up the garden. That's the idea. Right, we'll leave it at that, and thanks for watching.